Hello everyone, it's Sonia McDonald here, and today I thought I would jump on board and do a empowering educational mini leadership live today around courageous conversations and connecting with others, truly connecting with others. Connection is everything, and most of our leadership work is around understanding, communicating with impact, how to engage, give feedback, have courageous conversations. A lot of people struggle with giving feedback and also having, they call it courageous conversations. I say, which is a Brené Brown quote, to be clear is to be kind, to be unclear is to be unkind. So sometimes we need to be clear in terms of how we can truly connect with people. And I can tell you right now, it'll make the biggest difference in your career and also in your leadership. So where do we start? Okay. Gosh, where do I start with this whole courage and communications aspect of how to lead and how to have courageous conversations? So I'm going to share with you, and don't share with anyone else, some of my greatest techniques and secrets around how to have the courage to step up and have a voice and connect, give feedback. Now, a couple of things. I always focus on two words that start with C: compassion and curiosity. Now, I know it takes courage. It absolutely takes courage. But the more you are having these conversations, the more you are encouraging, I promise, the more you will find that you will become so much more effective in courageous conversations, feedback, and also communicating with impact. Remember, to be clear is to be kind. This is about kindness. This is why I always focus on compassion and curiosity. Now, what are the things I find when people are having conversations with others? Hey, and I'm not saying I'm perfect at this. I also find having courageous conversations challenging. I had to have one this week, and I'll tell you a bit of a story about that. Now, I think the reason why we kind of try to steer clear of having courageous conversations is because of the uncertainty of it. We don't want to seem like we're being unkind. We don't know how the person's going to react. We don't want to hurt the person. There's a kind of a various different reasons why we do not have courageous conversations. However, if we focus on compassion and curiosity, it makes a huge difference. It's kind of like stepping out of yourself and knowing that this isn't about you. This is about your intent, your kind, good leadership intent that you want to help others. I don't know within your career whether people have said things to help you be better, do more, learn more by giving you feedback and having courageous conversations with you. But the thing is, when it comes to growth, being comfortable in growth kind of can't operate in the same space. To grow, we have to be uncomfortable. And that's about feedback, giving feedback and receiving feedback. So when we kind of step out of ourselves and go, okay, this is about how I'm showing kindness and leadership and serving the other person by having this courageous conversation based on, whatever you want to kind of have the conversation about. If you focus on compassion, that's number one. I wonder what's going on for this person. I wonder why they're behaving like that or they're responding like that. Okay, so it's about not taking it personally. If someone is obviously, we've kind of been upset by someone by what they've said or by what they've done, we take it personally. 9 times out of 10, it's not about us. So it's really important that we check in, because so often what we can do is just climb this ladder of inference. If you haven't heard of ladder of inference, please Google it. There's some great YouTube videos. We kind of see a bit of data and we climb this ladder where we make assumptions based on our frame of reference and our perspectives and our reality. We put meanings to things. It doesn't mean that it is reality. And I think it's really important that you check in with the person so you don't make assumptions, and also think, I wonder what's going on for them, having that compassion, having that empathy. Then it's about being curious, checking in, asking questions, sharing what you've noticed. Okay, I'll give you an example, a couple of examples actually. And I use a technique called direct observable data. I focus on the conversation, on the data, what I'm seeing through my lens and my perspective around the data I'm seeing. Years ago, I was a keynote speaker on stage, and one of the leaders I'm coaching came to the Hilton. It was this big conference. He said he was so excited about seeing me speak. I was really excited about seeing him in the audience, and he was sitting in the audience, and I was speaking, I was doing my thing, and then I noticed that he yawned. And in my mind, I thought, oh my gosh, this was very early when I started in my speaking career, and I was still a little bit anxious and nervous. And I remember my mind went into kind of spiraled, and I thought, oh my gosh, is he bored? Does he not like what I'm saying? Am I not a good speaker? And I started to ruminate, and I started to come up with these assumptions. And even though after I got off on stage, all these people came up to me and said, that was great. I love what you spoke about. I still was driving home thinking about this person yawning and thinking, why did he yawn? Like, did he not like what I said? And I started to ruminate and make assumptions. Now, I could have very quickly formed beliefs around what I saw and then taken actions based on that belief. And I could have maybe next time I was seeing that individual, working with that individual, adapted my behavior or not invested as much into my actions, or because I was kind of making assumptions about how that person felt about my speaking. So the next day I went into work, and I happened to be working with him and some of the people in his organization. And I just went in and I checked in, and I said to him, Stuart, hi, it was so great to see you yesterday. How are you going? And I had a bit of a chat. And I said, look, I'm curious. And again, I went into compassion mode. I wonder what was going on for him. Hey, when you were in my event yesterday when I was speaking, I noticed that you yawned. Gosh, I hope you didn't think I was boring, or I'd love some feedback around how you found my keynote. And in my mind, again, I was like, I still had to check in on him. And then I said, look, I'd love to ask you some questions around how you found it. Give me some feedback. And he just laughed. He said, Sonia, I was up all night the night before with a sick child. I hadn't received it, and he got any sleep. And you were great. You're fantastic. Thank goodness I checked in. Mind you, if he had said, look, probably wasn't what I expected, or it probably wasn't like as motivating as you normally are, or something like that, I need to be open to that feedback, because I think feedback can be a gift, and you can really, really grow from those things. Another example around courageous conversations and connecting with others and giving them feedback. Another technique, as well as using the ladder of inference and also being compassionate and curious, is I use something called advocacy and inquiry. Now, I'll give you an example, and it works every time, and it makes a huge difference. This week, I was running a leadership program. So I'm running numerous leadership programs. The team at LeadershipHQ run loads and loads of these great leadership programs, and we're really passionate about our leadership programs. And sometimes we find our leadership programs, people don't show up, which can be for us as facilitators, as coaches, as people that are taking care and educating and inspiring and serving others in a room. When someone doesn't show up and doesn't tell us that they're not showing up, immediately we get worried. We really care about the people in the room. If they don't show up and they don't tell us why they're not showing up, or they don't communicate with us, we wonder, is there a safety issue? Have they been in an accident? I wonder what's happened. Anyway, this individual has not been showing up, and we had reached out a few times to check in to see if everything was okay. And we went to HR and let them know that he wasn't showing up, and they got back to us and said, look, we've had a conversation with him. Everything's okay. He's going to show up. Still not showing up. And then he decides to show up, but he shows up late. So he interrupts the people in the room, and he doesn't apologize. He sits down, and obviously he probably doesn't want to interrupt the flow. And in the break, I went up to him and I said, I would really love to have a conversation with you in the break for a few minutes. Again, compassion, curiosity, and wasn't about me. I didn't take it personally. I was wondering what was going on for him, and I wanted to ask and be curious about what was going on for him. So I said to him, I've noticed that you haven't been showing up to training and the workshops. And I've also noticed today, and you haven't been responding to why you're not showing up in it today. I've noticed that you've turned up late again. I didn't know if you're going to be here today. You didn't tell me you're going to show up late. I'm curious, like from my perspective, I see that you might not be engaged or you might not be interested in the program, but that's from my lens. But I'm curious. I would love to know what's going on for you. How are you going? Is there anything that I can do to help? I'd love to know why you're not showing up, why you turned up late. And look, and he gave me his explanation, and we were able to connect, and he knew where he stood and how I was feeling at the time. And then I said to him, look, I think it's really important for you to understand in this leadership space that leadership is about how you can actually, make sure that you show respect and communicate and connect with others. I think that's really, really important. And that was just my cat. And I think as a leader, you need to give us feedback and let us know as well what's going on in your world. So, again, it created a connection, a two-way conversation. And I said, look, I know if you had set a meeting up with me and I never showed up to the meeting, I never gave you any indication around why I didn't show up, you would probably be worried about me. You would probably be perplexed about why. You'd probably be disappointed. There might be different things. And look, and he shared with me what was going on. I listened. I validated him. He told me about how busy he was. And I said, look, it sounds like you do have a lot going on. It's valid that you must be feeling overwhelmed with all that. So I validated his feelings to show that I heard him. But again, I still gave him, through my questions and through my feedback and what was going on for me, how it made me feel and how it impacted me. So again, a growth exercise. Look, it was uncomfortable, and I walked away feeling, still these things are challenging, but I walked away feeling like, yeah, I showed leadership. I hoped that he walked away knowing that I was there to help him I was clear by being kind. There's a few techniques I wanted to show you today. I think it's about definitely your understanding letter of inference, showing compassion, curiosity, focusing on direct observable data, just the data you're seeing, gaining understanding around what's going on for you through your lens, asking them what's going on for them, showing that empathy and compassion, but also demonstrating the impact as well. So I hope that helped you today in terms of understanding the importance of having these courageous conversations, giving feedback, connecting with others. If you'd love to know more about anything that I've spoken about today, please reach out to the team at LeadershipHQ, nominate and our incredible, outstanding Global Leadership Awards. They're amazing. They're next year in May 2024. It's free to enter. If you'd love to book me for your next conference, workshop, or event, go to soniamcdonald.com.au. Follow me on YouTube. There are hundreds of more leadership, educational, coaching programs and videos that you can watch for free on YouTube. And again, reach out to myself and my incredible team. Nominate in the awards. Subscribe to our newsletters. They're award-winning. And it is about how we can build a world of great leaders. And it starts with you. And it starts with having the courage. It does take courage, but the more you do this, the more it'll make such a difference in your career and leadership. So thank you for watching. And remember to always stay kind and stay courageous. Thank you.